Rin stood quietly before the guild counter, clutching a small pouch filled with the spoils of his trial, goblin runestones and neatly bundled medicinal herbs. Across from him, the receptionist sorted through the items with practiced hands, her eyes briefly flicking between the contents and a checklist. After a moment, she gave a single firm nod. Congratulations. You've passed the entrance trial. Rin blinked. Just like that, you're now officially registered as an F-rank adventurer of the Horizon Guild. She handed over a simple bronze-colored card engraved with his name and rank. Along with it came a small pouch, 50 copper coins, his first reward. Rin tightened his grip around the pouch. His chest rose and fell as he exhaled slowly. It wasn't a fortune. It wasn't even enough to cover lodging for more than a few nights. But it was a beginning. He wasn't a burden anymore. He was an adventurer. He stepped away from the counter, letting the moment sink in. For the first time in his life, he had taken a step on his own. Ran. He turned. Kanade was approaching, her cat-like ears twitching, a cheerful glint in her eyes. You did it. Yeah, he replied with a quiet smile. Feels good. She grinned, tail swishing behind her. Now we're both officially adventurers. He nodded. No more rules forced on him. No one shouting orders. He could finally walk his own path, with Kanade beside him. But their celebration barely had a chance to begin. From across the hall, a cocky voice rang out. Yo, cat spirit. A man swaggered toward them, leering openly at Kanade. His armor was poorly maintained, his expression oozing arrogance. His eyes barely glanced at Run. He was fixated on her ears, her tail, her unique aura. Didn't expect to see someone like you in a dump like this, he said. How about ditch the weakling and come join me instead? Kanade's ears twitched, not with interest but irritation. Huh? Are you deaf or just stupid? She snapped, arms crossed. I chose Ren. He's my master. The man blinked, then burst out laughing. You chose him? You're joking, right? He looked her up and down like he was some pitiful animal. A shrimp like you? Taming an ultimate species? Yeah, right. Kanade's fur bristled. I'm not just with him. I'm contracted to him, she declared proudly. He did tame me. The crowd around them was beginning to murmur. The man's grin twisted. If you're so confident, then let's put it to the test. A duel. Winner takes the cat. Ren's eyes narrowed. A crowd was already gathering. He didn't want to make a scene, but walking away would mean more trouble down the line. For Kanade's sake, he couldn't ignore it. Fine. The challenger didn't even draw his sword. He just raised his fists and sneered. It ended in an instant. Ren moved once. One clean strike. The man crashed to the ground, eyes wide in disbelief, gasping for air. The room fell into stunned silence. Footsteps echoed across the floor. Natalie, the red-headed guild clerk, marched over with a grim expression. I told him to knock it off, she muttered under her breath. Sorry about that. He's been a headache for a while now. We're considering suspending his license. Then she turned her gaze to Run. Still, I can't believe what I just saw. Not just the duel. You actually managed to form a contract with an ultimate species during the entrance trial. She blinked in disbelief. Do you know how rare that is? Rin and Kanade both stiffened. They stammered awkward apologies, unsure how to explain. Natalie waved her hand dismissively, suddenly flustered. Ah, sorry. I didn't mean that in a bad way. I'm just amazed. She gave a smile, both kind and curious. I'll be looking forward to what you do next, Run. As she walked off, Rin stood frozen. What had he done? How had he grown so strong? Kanade stepped closer. You really don't know? She explained. By forming a contract with her, his strength had risen to match hers, an amplification effect. Physically, he was now as powerful as an ultimate species. Rin's mouth fell open. So that's why. Kanade looked away, her cheeks tinged red. It's why you beat that guy so easily. You protected me, and it made me happy. No grand quest just yet. Rain and Kanade had to start at the bottom, gathering herbs and fulfilling basic tasks to build credibility. It wasn't glamorous, but it mattered. Kanade tried to stay cheerful, though jealousy bubbled when other temporary companions assisted. She wanted to be the one helping Rain to prove her worth. Rain thanked everyone, recognizing their efforts, and reassured Kanade. He valued her most of all. But then something snapped into focus. Kanade's ears twitched. She heard shouting, screaming. Something was wrong nearby. Bandits. The Ebon Fangs. Rain and Kanade stumbled upon an attack in progress. A merchant was being threatened. His guards had fled, and he was alone against a group of violent thugs. Kanade recognized the name. The Ebon Fangs were infamous, with over 100 members. Wherever they went, destruction followed. They were supposed to run. This was dangerous. But Rain couldn't. The memory of weakness, of being abandoned by those he once called allies, fueled his decision. He couldn't let the same happen to someone else. Not now. Not when he finally had the power to make a difference. Rain charged in. He coordinated swiftly. Rain would handle the attackers, while Kanade protected the merchant. There was no hesitation. Their synergy showed. Their strength was real. The attackers were overwhelmed by a single unarmed man and a cat spirit. The merchant was saved, but as the dust settled, concern returned. The merchant warned them. This was only a small group. The rest of the Ebon Fangs would come, and when they did, revenge would follow. Rain understood the risk, but he had already made up his mind. They had to go after the entire group. Kanade was stunned. The idea of taking on over 100 bandits? It was insane, but Rain had a plan. First, he showed her a small insect, an arby. With a temporary contract, he could now command it. Despite being tiny, the creature packed a paralytic sting powerful enough to knock someone out for 12 hours. Rain's training as an insect tamer, a rare subclass, was finally coming in handy. Kanade was impressed. Rain had not only beast-taming skills, but insect-taming too. He truly was full of surprises. He tasked her with finding reinforcements while he infiltrated the bandits' hideout alone. Kanade didn't like the idea of Rain going alone, but he promised to be careful. And he meant it. Rain wasn't the same person anymore. He had strength, strategy, and someone to protect. Inside the bandit camp, Rain unleashed the Arby's. One by one, the thugs fell unconscious, completely unprepared for the tiny assassins. Kanade returned with adventurers. The Order of Knights hadn't responded in time, but it didn't matter. Rain had already subdued most of the hideout. Victory was within reach. The adventurers finished the cleanup while Rain and Kanade took a moment to catch their breath. Rain thanked her for bringing help. She was proud to finally contribute something meaningful. Just when it seemed like the worst was over, an earthquake-like tremor hit. Massive beasts, king lizards, emerged. These weren't bandits. These were monsters, controlled by the enemy as a last resort. Rain stood firm. With Kanade at his side, he wasn't afraid. He leaped into action, drawing on the strength of their bond. Together, they defeated the king lizards in a display that left the adventurers speechless. The once dismissed beast tamer had taken down an entire bandit faction and sea-reek monsters meant for war. Rain couldn't believe the praise. It felt foreign to him. After all, he had been discarded by the hero's party as deadweight. But standing here, surrounded by survivors, Kanade by his side, he finally understood. He wasn't weak anymore. Kanade's eyes sparkled as she watched him. Something stirred in her chest. Pride. Warmth. Something deeper than loyalty. She didn't say it aloud. Not yet. But her heart had already chosen him. Rain turned toward her, grateful beyond words.